It's a new year, and if you're like the average person, your New Year's resolution is to get your finances in order, which is why you need an Apple credit card right now. I know it's crazy that I'm telling you to sign up for a credit card, which some people would view as a bad financial decision, but the Apple Card, it's different because not only is it easy to use and easy to manage, but it is the only credit card I can think of that has an unlimited and easy to understand reward system, and the only credit card that is actually going to earn you money this year. Yeah, that's right. If you watch this video, I'm going to tell you how this card can help your financial future and how it can also possibly pay for your next iPhone. And to be fully transparent, my New Year's resolution is to get over 500,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which is a tall order because it's taken me a long time just to grow to 300,000. So a subscription to this channel would be appreciated. So let's start this New Year's off right together, financially and with subscribers. I don't know if you run a YouTube channel, but if you do, good luck. Now, one thing I hate about traditional credit cards is how hard it can be to manage them. It's almost like these credit card companies purposely make the app interfaces slow, glitchy, or make logging into the website or app take like a few extra steps, and maybe a pop-up here or there to advertise another credit card you should sign up for or some banking service that you should sign up for that you probably don't even need. Even worse, they're not upfront about how much you will owe if you don't meet your statement balance. And even worse, it feels like they usually point new users towards paying the minimum payment, which will incur additional interest on your next bill, rather than encouraging users to pay the full statement, which means that you pay interest on your card. And that's not good, because the correct way, well, the way to win at using credit cards is to always pay your statements in full. This means that the credit card pays you to use it, and you don't pay them a single cent. It's not uncommon to not know how a credit card works. I've talked to many of my viewers, and I found there's a big lack of financial education in general in today's modern world, and that's not your fault. Like, it's hard to understand, and these credit card companies make it hard to understand because at the end of the day, if you miss a payment or if you underpay your statement balance, they make more money off of you. Now, the Apple Card changes that. It's why I recommend it to so many new credit card users, because it is completely upfront and easy to understand. First of all, the app lives on your iPhone in the Wallet app. In fact, you literally have to apply for the card on your iPhone if you want to get one, and you can see if you're instantly approved for one, so it makes managing that even easier. But more importantly, it's always easy to access and to see how much you owe on your credit card balance. And you should only use something if you understand how it works, and the Apple Card is easy to understand and has a really simple interface. You have a virtual card in the top that represents your payments, and this card even changes color depending on what you're using it for, with color-coded categories like food, shopping, entertainment, transportation, services, health, and travel. It's very easy to see a visual representation of where your monthly budget is being spent. However, the best thing about this card is how easy it is to see and pay your balance. It's always right there, right under your line of credit, and the payment date is always the same for every single user. It's the last day at the end of the month, not some random payment date on a calendar like every other credit card company gives you, so you know exactly how much your balance is and when you need to pay it. And what I really love about the Apple Card is that when you go to pay your balance, the Apple Card, unlike other credit cards, does not recommend the minimum payment. It actually defaults to paying the exact statement balance, which means that if you pay that statement balance, you will end up owing $0 in interest charges. Now, if you can't pay the full statement balance, and I'll reiterate, pay the statement balance, pay it. Don't let these credit card companies make any money off of you. If you're taking one bit of advice from Greg in 2024, it's not to be stepped all over, not to be walked all over, or not to pay interest on your card. Always pay the full balance. Now, with that being said, even though if you take my advice, you'll never really need to use this feature, but I do have to kind of applaud Apple for making it easy to understand how much money you will be charged in interest charges. Again, this is a number that other credit cards will hide from you and make you figure out on your own with some vague percentage math that you're probably never going to do. So with the Apple Card, as you drag the slider towards the minimum payment, you can actually see the exact amount of interest Apple will charge you for not meeting the statement balance. And the colors even change the more intense the interest charges are going to be to discourage you from paying that amount. And you can even see Apple actively encourages you to avoid paying these interest charges. Again, something we have to applaud. This is actually teaching people to be better with their finances. And that's to the detriment of Apple and their partner bank Goldman Sachs, because if you ended up paying these interest charges, they would make more money off of you. And those interest charges are really the only fee you need to worry about, because the Apple Card doesn't have any fees. There's no late fee, there's no foreign transaction fee, no fees in general. You just pay your bill to avoid the interest charges, and that's really all you have to worry about. However, come back to me. I reiterate, please pay your balance off in full every month, because one thing I hate about the Apple Card, at least on mine, is the high APR percentage my card has. It is 27.24%, which is really high. But again, that doesn't matter to me because I always pay off my card in full, so I have never paid these interest rate charges. Now, as easy as the Apple Card is to use and how great it is to finally have a credit card that seems to at least pretend to care just a little bit about their users' financial health, I wouldn't recommend this card if the reward system didn't match, but thankfully, the Apple Card also has a straightforward reward system with excellent perks for a free credit card. So let's get this out of the way. One of the cool things about the Apple Card is they mail you this great looking physical titanium card. There's a reason I placed this card on the thumbnail. It looks great, it feels great. When you're at the restaurant, you feel like $1 million when you're paying with this, right? Like you feel like you have status. You're like, you know what, I'm gonna pay for the bill, guys. You throw this down and you hear that satisfying ping. Yeah, you just feel so important when you're using this card. And hey, if you dine out with me and you have an Apple Card, you can pay for the full bill. I have no problem letting you use your Apple Card and hearing that satisfying sound when you thunk it down, because free food, it's one of the best things in life. I'll never turn it down. Now, I have a few credit cards, and even the cards that I pay a yearly fee to use still don't look or feel as premium as the free card you get with Apple. The Apple Card is the best looking and best feeling credit card that I own. The only downside is you should never use that physical card because it has the lowest reward system. So Apple made this really cool credit card, this physical card at least, and basically you should never use it because you only get 1% cash back on your purchases if you use that card, unless it's at the physical Apple Store where you still get the 3% cash back from the Apple Store, whether you're using the physical card or using Apple Pay. So I guess if you go into the Apple Store, you want to be a high roller, throw your card down, that is acceptable. If you want to rack up rewards, you need to use Apple Pay. And that's not hard to do. When I originally made my first video about the Apple Card in 2019, Apple Pay was in a lot of locations, but it certainly wasn't everywhere. However, that has changed. I can't remember the last time in the United States that I went into a store and didn't see Apple Pay or contactless payments being accepted. The world has changed a lot in these last 4 years. And again, that's what you're going to want to use for this card when you can, because every Apple Pay purchase by default gives you 2% cash back. On top of that, if you shop at Apple, I assume if you own an Apple Card, you do occasionally shop at Apple, that will net you a 3% cashback reward. And then Apple actually has some partner merchants that honor the 3% cashback reward when using Apple Pay. Those stores include Walgreens, Duane Reade, Panera, Exxon, Mobil, Ace Hardware, Nike, T-Mobile, and services like Uber and Uber Eats. I honestly think that 2% cashback on Apple Pay purchases for a free card is a really good reward system, but if you can pair that with one of the other services for 3%, it adds up. I know for me, I shop at Walgreens and I take a lot of Ubers and I frequently use Uber Eats. So that's probably the area besides Apple purchases where I rack up the most rewards. And sometimes Apple Pay will even have bonus rewards, for example. Like one time I believe I purchased a pair of Nike shoes, which qualified for 6% cashback at the time. And again, with contactless payments being accepted at almost everywhere, you get that 2% cashback at most merchants now, which for a straight cashback system is really good. And it isn't limited in its categories of spending like it can be with other credit cards. By far, though, my favorite part about this reward system is that as soon as the transaction clears, the rewards are deposited directly onto a virtual Apple Card that you can use right away. Apple calls this the daily cash reward system, and it's maybe not exactly daily because it does take like a day to clear, but yeah, basically you get your rewards in about a day or two. You don't have to wait a month for your statement. You don't have to pay off your card to accumulate rewards. You get that money as soon as that transaction clears, which means even though it might be like small reward amounts, it's your money to use. It's your money to use as you see fit And that's very empowering. And that money can add up. Now, listen, I spend a lot on Apple purchases, so I am not a typical user, but for full transparency, I want to let you know how much all of my cashback rewards have accumulated since 2019, and I have earned, drumroll please, $5,000 in reward spending. And the way I look at that is, it's free real estate, or it's free money. This is money I would not have earned otherwise if I was paying with a debit card or cash or a lower earning credit card with a lower earning reward. So basically, I have not paid a single cent in interest charges. And because of that, Apple, in a weird way, has paid me $5,000 to use this card over the last 4 years. That's more money than my parents have ever given me. So the way I look at that is Apple loves me more than my parents do. I don't know how to feel about that, but I guess it's true. Now, I don't know what your line of work is, where you're from. You're probably some rich trust fund baby laughing at someone like being excited for $5,000. We get it, right? Like small potatoes. But listen, it's a lot of money to me, especially for being free. And on top of that, there's a new feature for the Apple Card that might actually end up earning me even more money, because there's a new addition to all of this that has made this payment even higher. And that is Apple's new high-yield savings account feature that launched 10 months ago. This is the newest feature of the Apple Card, and it is by far my favorite feature and potentially a life-changing feature that will have you earning more money every single month. What this is basically a bank account, which Apple partnered with Goldman Sachs, just like they did with the credit card. Yes, you need an Apple Card before you can sign up for this bank account, but when you do, you can have your daily cash rewards directly deposited into this bank account, and you can even deposit your own money from another bank into the savings account. Why would you want to do that? Well, that's because this account earns 4.25% interest every single year. And that is actually a higher interest rate than when this launched, which was at 4.15% a year. And as I'm editing this video right now, early in the morning, finishing it up, about to upload it to YouTube so you can see it. You can see, I haven't slept a wink. The reward system increased to 4.35% within a week. So yeah, this thing is constantly updating, which is good because, or hopefully it keeps becoming good, because that means you're earning more money as these interest rates go higher. So once again, the interest rate right now is 4.35%. We just saw 2 increases in the matter of like a span of a week. So that's really cool. Basically, what that means is that as long as you keep your money in the savings account, you'll earn 4.25% of that money every year. So for example, when I opened my account, I deposited $20,000 into this account as an experiment. Basically, my goal was to not deposit any additional money into this account and only grow it by my daily cash rewards and with the interest rate. So with about 8 months of rewards and interest, you can see that my account grew by $2,400 in 8 months without any additional cash deposits on my end. That is all rewards. That is all interest. That is the only thing that is growing this account. And let's take a look at this interest. Basically, you can see that when I started this account, I got $13 the first month, because the first month was basically almost over when I deposited my first amount. But after that, you can see the balance grew from $69 a month to now $77 a month in this latest balance. To make a complex subject easy to understand, that's kind of the power of interest. Now, every month when I get my $70 or so of interest, that $70 is added onto an existing pile of money, and then that $70 also starts earning that 4.25% interest. So a simple way to view this is, let's say we keep $20,000 deposited into that account and I earn $25 in Apple Pay rewards every month. That money in 10 years would grow to $34,037, basically $14,000 in free interest money. That's without any additional deposits. So let's say you made an active savings plan and deposited $500 of your own money into the account every month. By the end of 10 years, that account would have a balance of $108,438, with $25,438 of that being interest accumulation. And the way I look at that is free money. And the more you save, the more you can earn. Now, listen, there's a lot of ways to earn money. This is not financial advice. I'm not giving you financial advice. And theoretically, yes, you can earn more money from other investments or other things out there, right? But Everyone needs some sort of money in the bank for an emergency, and this is a completely risk-free way to grow money. There's no downsides, there's no risk of losing this money like you might have in the stock market. Now, that 4.25% rate is competitive and definitely better than any standard checking or savings account you likely have your money in. But yes, there are other high yield savings accounts out there that have an even higher percentage return that you may want to look into. It's always good to do research, but I will reiterate, the ease of opening this high yield savings account once you have an Apple Card, and then the added benefit of having your rewards directly deposited into that account means that it is great for people that want to grow a savings account with very little focus on it. And it means that your rewards will start earning interest as fast as possible. And there's a lot of other benefits to the Apple Card. It has a really good security system. It has great customer service that you can contact right through chat, which I've had to do before. You can even do like Apple Pay Later. You can pay off some of your Apple purchases in installments. You know, there's other features that the Apple Card has that do add up, but I think these are kind of like the most important features, and there's really a lot of great reasons to own an Apple Card, right? It doesn't have a fee, it's easy to use and understand, you get a great interface for paying your balance off, and you understand the charges that are being charged to you. It has a great reward system that gives you access to rewards as fast as possible, and on top of that, it now has a high yield savings account that can actively grow your money. It's why I think if you own an iPhone, you need an Apple Card in 2024. This is the only credit card that I have ever owned that actually feels like it's trying to improve my financial situation, and it's the only card I've owned that has actively received updates to features and rewards every single year. It's literally like an Apple product that feels like it's getting software updates every year with improvements over time. Now, there is one thing I feel like I should mention, and that is that Apple is seeking a new partner that isn't Goldman Sachs as their banking partner, and that relationship is set to end within like the next year, I believe. So there may be some sort of transition with the card if you get it. Like, I don't know how that's gonna look. And you may have like a new credit card issuer and maybe technically a new savings account issuer, but I really don't feel like that's really any cause for concern, because I feel like Apple wouldn't be ending this contract if they didn't have a solution in mind to transfer credit cards and banking accounts over. And your banking account for most banks is kind of secured for $250,000. So it's not like you're gonna lose your money or anything like that. So I just wanted to mention that though, as like kind of like a little warning in case you saw some like articles saying that Apple was ending their partnership. I don't think this means the Apple Card is going anywhere. This is a really successful product, at least in Apple's mind. And a lot of people love their Apple Cards, and a lot of people love that new savings account. But I wanted to give that information to you because information is power. And yeah, with all this information, I think that you should sign up for an Apple Card in 2024 and start the year off right financially. All right, hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, give me a like. If you want to see more, get subscribed, and Happy New Year. It's gonna be a great year for us. Unless you're like watching this like 6 months later, and I guess it's not New Year's anymore. So hi person watching this video, if you're watching this like 6 months or a year later, I just want to know, even though you didn't catch it like in the first few months it was up, you're still special to me. I want you to know that from the bottom of my heart, and I'll catch you in the next one.